It was a packed weekend of Marquette athletics, and we've got all the coverage from it.
Don't turn that dial because we've got exclusive footage you can't get anywhere else. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Golden Eagle Sports Report. I'm Sean Mason.
And I'm Nick Wight. Women's volleyball hosted the Marquette Invitational this weekend, featuring Florida and UW-Milwaukee. The Lady Golden Eagles faced the number 4 Gators Friday evening. Autumn Bailey led Marquette with 10 kills and 13 digs. Redshirt freshman Jackie Cochran had 8 kills. The Golden Eagles opened up the first set with a 7-point lead, but the Florida Gators rallied to win the set 25-21. Once again, Marquette tried to keep their momentum in the second set, but the Gators proved to be too much for the Lady Golden Eagles, coming back from a 5-point deficit to win 25-21 again. In the final set, the Gators did not allow Marquette to take a lead. Chloe Mann led the Gators through the third set, where she ended with 13 kills, winning 25-21. This was the third straight loss to a top 5 team. Let's hear from our own Mike Cianciolo, who was at the game.
Marquette Volleyball would host number 4 Florida at the Almaguer Center Friday night. As the opening game of the Marquette Invitational, the Lady Golden Eagles would start things off hot, but would ultimately get chomped by the Gators, being swept in 3 straight sets.
You start setting the bar higher and higher, and what we feel like is, last year we've gotten a couple of top 25 wins, but they weren't top 5. And so I said, okay, let's raise that bar even one notch higher, because what we feel like is we're going to beat most teams. And our program has gone from being 180 RPI down to being 35 RPI. So now, how do you go from 35 to 5? That is the summit. That's the Everest climb. And they talk about how difficult that last 200 feet is. That's where we're at. And sometimes you just embark in that kind of stage 4 part of the climb, and you got to turn right back around. A big storm like Florida or Penn State's hitting you in the face, turn back around and go to Camp 4 and find a way to reload and make the ascent again. And so that's where we're at in our journey with our program, and I'm proud of who we are, what we have, and I'm super confident that we're going to go out there and win a heck of a lot of matches in our building this year and on the road when we get into league play.
Coach Bond would have liked to have seen his team defeat the number 4 Florida Gators, but they just couldn't get a whole set to go their way. Freshman outside hitter Autumn Bailey shined again Friday night, tallying a team-high 10 kills and 13 digs. Marquette will have a day off before returning back to the Al for their tournament.
What I really want to do is I want to beat Milwaukee on Sunday. I want to beat Illinois State on Wednesday, and then we'll find a way to go down and beat DePaul, who's a really undefeated team right now.
Marquette will host Milwaukee on Sunday afternoon in their final game of the Marquette Invitational. Reporting from the Almaguer Center, I'm Mike Cianciolo, MUTV Sports.
Marquette took on UWM on Sunday, looking to finish strong at the Marquette Invitational. Opening up, Elizabeth Koberstein with the serve. UWM tries to return it back, but the point goes to Marquette after it's hit into the net. Later, UWM with the serve. Julie Jezorowski hits it up to teammate Elizabeth Koberstein, who then passes it to Lindsay Gosch, who finishes with a ferocious strike. UWM with the serve, and Autumn Bailey hits it to Julie Jezorowski, who then hits it to Megan Neiman, who hits it to the far point. Point goes to UWM. Later, Megan Neiman with a monster block, allowing Autumn Bailey and Elizabeth Koberstein to set up Lindsay Gosch with the spike. Elizabeth Koberstein serving for match point. UWM returns it, but Julie Jezorowski keeps the ball alive and hits it back to Koberstein, who hits to teammate Erin Lehman, who scores the point, securing the win for the Golden Eagles. Let's throw it over to MUTV Sports' own Mike Cianciolo, who has the recap.
After getting swept by the number 4 Florida Gators Friday night, the Marquette volleyball team came out Sunday with a vengeance against the Milwaukee Panthers, sweeping them in straight sets 25-15, 25-17, and 25-14.
We had belief in ourselves. Like when we play top teams, we don't really have that full belief, but we had it right from the start because it is Milwaukee. Like I said earlier, they are our rival, so we want to destroy them.
It was Lindsay Gosch who led the charge for Marquette as the Golden Eagles absolutely destroyed the Panthers Sunday. Gosch would contribute across the stat sheet on her birthday, racking up 13 kills, 6 aces, 5 blocks, and 1 dig. Facing their crosstown rival, Marquette came out with a confidence that wouldn't fold, something that didn't happen against Florida on Friday. Coach Bond talked about his team's mentality this weekend.
There's such a fine line between cocky and confident, and I want our team to be confident every time we step out on the court, and I believed that we could beat Florida, and I had that confidence in our team and in our coaching staff and our program, and we were doing it, but we weren't willing to continue it, and you can just see they kind of a little bit of surprise or shock on their face, and that's just part of the growing up process of being a competitor, and we have so many young front row hitters that they're going to have to learn kind of trial by fire in those experiences. And so, yeah, I thought today we came out with really good confidence, but we were just sharp. We wanted to compete to win. And when you see confidence kind of lag into cockiness, that's when things get dull. The performance gets dull, the hitting, the communication gets flat, everything goes the wrong direction. So we had that moment a little bit at the beginning of the second set, and I really challenged them. We've talked about as a point of reference for our program, we keep saying, you know, stay focused with high intensity. But I put it on them today and said, no, the question is, can you stay focused with high intensity? Quit making me tell you it's something you should do, and now I'm asking you, can you do it? And when I phrase it that way, I think it's kind of galling to them, because it shouldn't really be a question that I should ask them during the course of a match. And so growing up, we got growing up to do as a program and as a team, but I like the direction we're headed.
Marquette Volleyball closed out the Marquette Invitational with a win and will return to action Wednesday at home to take on Illinois State in their final non-conference game of the season. Reporting from the Al McGuire Center, I'm Mike Cianciolo, MUTV Sports.
The Big East announced Monday that Marquette's outside hitter Autumn Bailey was named Conference Freshman of the Week. Bailey racked up her 6th double-double of the year against the number 4 Gators Friday. This is the 3rd Big East Freshman of the Week honor for the Burlington, Ontario native.
Junior right side hitter Lindsey Gosch was named the Big East Honor Roll for women's volleyball again this week. It's the second time in back-to-back weeks. Gosch played a stellar game on her birthday Sunday against UW Milwaukee. Let's hear what Chris Cochran and our other analysts have to say about women's volleyball. Guys?
Thanks, Nick. I'm Chris Cochran, and with me are our analysts Peter Fiorentino and Grant Becker. Guys, Coach Bond's team came out looking to upset the number 4 Gators. How come they couldn't get the job done?
Well, when you're out hit 286 to 190, you're not going to win games. When Marquette hits such a low score like that, as opposed to around 350 is what they hit against UWM, you're not going to win games like that. And bad things tend to happen in threes, as we've been told for such a long time. And losses to USC, Penn State, and Florida, all 3 ranked teams, number 3, number 4 in the country at the time. That really kind of added to the failure of those games.
Yeah, you know, and Florida's the number 4 team in the country right now, and that's a good team. They're intimidating. They came into this with a head coach who's won 90% of her games in 23 years at Florida. And the number 4 team in the country is usually going to be a pretty talented team.
Right.
And now Lindsey Gosch showed us exactly what she is capable of Sunday against UWM. What will her role be for this team this season?
Well, Chris, she had 13 kills and 6 service aces, which was huge for her. She now has raised her average on the season to .67 aces per set, which is good for 4th in the country. So when we have a leader on our team who's in the top 5 in the country in any category, it's really going to help out our team. She's an emotional leader. When she was excited over the weekend, it was her birthday during that game. So when she was excited, everyone rallied around her. It really made for a great game that day.
Yeah, no, she's a big player for this team. She's a big-time player, and in games like this, rivalry games, those players have to step up and take the lead, and that's exactly what she did.
Definitely.
The team is playing their final non-conference game tonight. What are your expectations for Marquette in Big East play?
Well, the Big East looks like a one-team conference right now, but it's pretty open for everybody else. The Big East is led by Creighton, who's ranked number 23 in the country right now. But Marquette looks like a middle-of-the-pack team who could rise towards the top if they get off to a good start.
When I'm looking at the Big East, I'm looking at 2 huge conference games in Georgetown at home and at Butler. Butler's new to the conference, so haven't really seen a lot of them lately. But at Jesuit against Georgetown is going to be a great game.
Thanks, guys. Let's send it to Nick in Studio 6.
Thanks, Chris. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we're going to the pitch to talk women's soccer. We're back and onto women's soccer. The Lady Golden Eagles only played 1 game this past weekend, hosting former Big East member Louisville Saturday night. We'll take you to Valley Fields. Marquette was ready for the Cardinals. We'll fast forward to the second half, tied at 0. Marquette was able to end their dry spell with a headed goal from Megan Kelly with service from Vanessa Cordisco at the 53-minute mark. Marquette was able to increase this lead with Kara Jacobson and junior Kate Riegel, both with an assist to Mary Luba and a flick-in at the 57-minute mark. Louisville was able to cut this lead in half with a goal from Caroline Coral, who got a rebound off of Marquette's goalkeeper, Amanda Engel. Louisville ended even the score with Casey Woodfield taking a long shot from the 23 feet outside the box. The match then went into overtime, but neither team was able to finish the match. Not until the second overtime did a winner emerge. Megan Kelly had a penalty kick in the 104th minute to end the match. With this win, Marquette has extended its unbeaten streak at Valley Fields to 16 games. MUTV's Mike Cianciolo was at the Valley Saturday.
Marquette women's soccer hosted former conference foe Louisville Saturday night at the Valley in a game that started off slow and in the second half jumped its pace, scoring 2 goals apiece for both sides. The game would go into double overtime, and Megan Kelly would score the game winner on a golden goal penalty kick.
It looked like for a moment we might put our heads down, but then I felt like, we kind of got that lift again. We didn't have to adjust anything. I mean, we didn't even have to make a substitution, and that's really what I'm proud of the ones that were out there. I mean, they just didn't put their head down. They know where they're at. They're at Valley Fields. This is our home. I mean, we want to be undefeated at home. This is the easiest place for us to win because it's home. Everywhere else, when you go on the road, you're in a hostile territory.
After a long first half of action that saw a pair of zeros on the scoreboard for both teams, Marquette opened the second half on the attack, punishing the Cardinals. In the 53rd minute, Megan Kelly would header a beautiful ball into the goal, and in the 58th minute, Mary Luba would score off a Kara Jacobson assist. The scoring duo of Kelly and Luba explained how the Golden Eagles managed to score so well and quick at home.
It's just our home field and we got to protect it, and if we score one we have momentum for the next, so I think it's just by chance that we usually score a couple at a time.
Yeah, we just keep the energy up and we keep going, so with the energy that we build up from the first goal in the celebration, we just keep going at them with it.
Marquette would surrender 2 goals late in the second half as Louisville forced overtime. In the 104th minute, Mary Luba would attempt a cross that turned into a handball in the box and set up a penalty kick for Megan Kelly. The senior made sure to capitalize and converted on the PK, ending the match on a golden goal, giving MU the victory and the fans a smile on a cold night. Having played Louisville 22 times prior to Saturday, Marquette leaned on its veteran players to get the win.
We had some older players out there who I think really, they've been through the trenches. They've been through trenches against Louisville, and they know, hey, if the chips are down, you better pick yourself back up and you better go back at them.
Marquette women's soccer will have a quick turnaround as they return to the pitch Monday to face the Milwaukee Panthers on the road. Reporting from Valley Fields, I'm Mike Cianciolo, MUTV Sports.
This past Monday, Marquette's women's soccer was back out on the field, this time just across town at Engelman Stadium to take on the Milwaukee Panthers. The game would start off slow with a halftime score of 1-0 Marquette, but the Lady Golden Eagles would apply the pressure in the second half as Mary Luba, Megan Kelly, Maddie Vicker, and Liz Bartels would all score goals to give Marquette an emphatic 5-0 victory on the road. Amanda Engel recorded her 3rd shutout of the season.
Senior midfielder and forward Megan Kelly was named the Big East Offensive Player of the Week Monday. She scored 2 goals against Louisville, including the game-winning penalty kick in double overtime. Kelly would also become the program's all-time assist leader Monday night against UWM. For more on women's soccer, we take you to the Analysts. Chris?
Thanks, Nick. Let's talk some women's soccer. They had a thrilling win over Louisville at home and a blowout win against UWM on the road. What got into their offense these past 2 games?
Well, in soccer, goals come in bunches, and the women started scoring, and they just kept on scoring. Their home field is a fortress for them, and they got off to a good start against Louisville this weekend, and then they continued against UWM.
What we're seeing with our women right now, everyone is hungry to score. Everyone is excited. Everyone wants the ball. Everyone wants to score. Even freshman Liz Bartels scored her first college goal as a player in college. So that's great for her. Great start. They're excited to start a Big East play. Really want to get started as that league schedule. And I'm pretty excited to watch them too.
Now, Megan Kelly has been scoring offensively through assists and goals. What has the senior meant to this team so far this season?
She's literally everything. She is one of our best players on the team. She's a leader. She's a facilitator. You might even compare that she is the Kobe Bryant of this Golden Eagles team. She's the leader. She's the point scorer. She's just an all-around stud, and everyone loves watching her play. It's a lot of the reason that some people come out to watch Marquette soccer games because Megan Kelly is playing.
You know, every soccer team needs a go-to person, a rock, you know, and that's what Megan Kelly's been for them this entire season and will continue to be as they go into Big East play. This is huge for them to have a player who's playing well and has it backed up with that record for her.
Definitely.
Well, that's all we have to offer here at the analyst desk. Let's see what Sean has coming up for us in the next block.
Thanks, Chris. That's all for women's soccer. When we come back from the break, we turn our focus over to men's soccer. The men's soccer squad. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Golden Eagles Sports Report. Before we get to men's soccer, our own Mike Cianciolo has the latest news on former Marquette basketball player Vander Blue.
Thursday night, it was reported by Yahoo Sports that former Marquette guard Vander Blue had been signed to a one-year, partially guaranteed contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. Blue started to come into his own towards the end of his junior year at Marquette and quickly built a name for himself this past March. Vander scored a game-winning layup in overtime at St. John's to give Marquette a share of the Big East title, and another game-winning layup in the second round of the NCAA tournament against Davidson to keep the Golden Eagles tournament run alive. Vander Blue would then post an impressive 29-point outing against Butler to reach the Sweet 16 for his third straight season at Marquette. Blue entered the 2013 NBA draft this spring, foregoing his senior season at Marquette, and after going undrafted would participate in both the Orlando and Las Vegas Summer Leagues, playing for the Houston Rockets and Memphis Grizzlies. Vander Blue will bring raw athleticism and a winning pedigree to Philadelphia as he tries to lock a spot on the Sixers roster come October.
Marquette's men's soccer had one game this weekend. It would be their final non-conference game of the year, taking on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. To Valley Fields we go. Coach Louis Bennett's squad, ready to battle at home Saturday night, will pick it up in the second half, where Louis Bennett II gets the blue and gold on the board and breaks a scoreless tie, 1-0 Marquette. Later, Coco Navarro sends the corner kick and it gets deflected by the Loyola Chicago goalie back to Brady Wall, who sends it back to Coco Navarro. Navarro, looking to make something happen, kicks it to the box and finds teammate C. Norte for the score, 2-0 Marquette. Later on, after the deflection by Loyola Chicago, Adam Lysak shoots and scores the goal for Marquette, putting the icing on the cake. Golden Eagles win 3-0. Let's hear from our own Denny Gallagher, who was at Valley Fields on Saturday. Denny?
A week after coming out flat against Michigan State, Marquette's men's soccer team was back in action at Valley Fields, this time getting the 3-0 result against Loyola Chicago.
I thought we were fantastic today. I thought, you know, a team that can be very difficult to break down. I thought piece by piece we dismantled them, and I was extremely pleased with the way we went about our task. We had a lot of people contributing, and we did a lot of work in the week about people accepting their roles and getting into their roles. And once the starting 11 starts, it doesn't mean that anyone, you know, that other people aren't fully involved. And I thought we were all locked and loaded and we were fully engaged.
Tonight, where Marquette inserted their will on the opposition, the freshman class had much to do with it, as Louis Bennett Jr. added a goal and Coco Navarro had 2 assists of his own.
Platform for the freshmen to perform. They can't perform on their own, and what I've been really happy is the way that our program has embraced the freshmen, and I think that the maturity, and I think that like I say, the playing platform that our upperclassmen has provided have let guys that are very talented, when they have other opportunity, take care of it. And obviously, I'm extremely proud of what they're doing, and but it's very much a team thing that's going on here, and I think we established that this week.
After the game, many players could not stop talking about the home field advantage they received from the Birdcage.
They were great tonight. They were very energetic, and so we appreciate the support. Everyone coming out, to come out on a Saturday night and to support our team. It means a lot, especially when you're coming all the way down to Valley, and so we appreciate every one of them, and it's great having a voice back there.
Marquette men's soccer team is back in action next Saturday, September 28th, as they travel to Cincinnati to take on Xavier. Reporting from Valley Fields, Denny Gallagher, MUTV Sports.
On Monday, redshirt junior goalkeeper Charlie Lyon was named the Big East Weekly Honor Roll. Lyon recorded his third clean sheet of the season at home Saturday against Loyola Chicago. He would also have 3 saves on the day at Valley Fields. For more in-depth coverage of Marquette men's soccer, we'll send you to the analyst desk. Chris?
Thanks, Nick. Guys, men's soccer only had 1 game this weekend. It was their final non-conference game. What did you see that impressed you in their win over Loyola Chicago?
I saw a continuous play from Louis Bennett II. He scored his 3rd overall goal of the season, which ties for the team record. Kind of low for a team leader, but pretty happy that he scored his 3rd goal. Pretty consistent play from Louis Bennett II.
Yeah, the men's soccer came out and they played sort of a pedestrian first half against Loyola. But at halftime, they came back out. Coach got what he was looking for. Charlie Lyon picked up his 3rd shutout of the season. And the young players continued to perform like they have been, and that's exactly what they were looking for.
Their next game comes on the road at Xavier, first conference game of the year. New member to the Big East. What can we expect in that game?
Yeah, Xavier's a talented team. They're moving in from a different conference, and they had a good season last year, but Marquette played in the Big East, which was one of the best conferences in the country last year. We have some pedigree, but it should be a good game. A draw on the road at Xavier would be a decent result, but look for Axel Solberg to get involved and help us with a win.
Looking at that game, I'm looking at against Xavier and the rest of the season. I want Axel Solberg to score more. He's 6'7". He's one of the tallest people in college soccer. He needs to score more goals. He only scored 8 last season. He has 1 goal this season. He really needs to get on those headers and those crosses, heading that ball right in the goal. He really needs to get on that goal total.
Different players are scoring on a regular basis in games this year. What does it mean to Louis Bennett to not have to rely on one person to help win a game?
It's kind of rough. It's kind of dangerous, too. Like, you never know what you're going to get with this team. What if you're in the 90th minute like we were against Michigan? Who do you give the ball to? Who's your guy? Who's your go-to stud? Who do you want to give the ball to? It's kind of a toss-up for Coach Bennett as far as that goes, because you don't really have that one guy you can go to if it's so spread out among the goal totals.
You know, it's really nice to be getting goals from a lot of different guys, but you're exactly right. A good soccer team always has a talisman, always has that go-to guy, and there's a few guys that it could be on this team. We have some talent. I would say that the go-to guy is probably Coco Navarro, the freshman. Yeah. Unbelievable talent at the forward position, and he's been supplying goals as well as scoring them, so he would be my guy.
I like C. Nordy personally as my go-to guy. He's one of the fastest players on the pitch. I really enjoy watching him play. Just this pure speed, getting right past defenders. I know, especially the UW-Milwaukee game, we did lose, but he was a stud. He was moving so fast right up and down the sideline.
Well, that will do it for analysis. Send us home, Sean and Nick.
Thanks, Chris. That is all the time we have tonight. Thanks for watching this edition of the Golden Eagle Sports Report.
For analysts Chris Cochran, Peter Fiorentino, and Grant Becker, and my co-host Sean Mason, I'm Nick Wight. Good night, Marquette.